I'm going to show you how to use our most popular tool, the Position Optimizer. You can use this tool on mobile phone and tap the icons for more information. But the real value comes using it on a tablet or desktop, where you can see all the daily fantasy stats at a glance on the same page. This will save you a ton of research time and help you pick the right players for your daily fantasy lineups. Select the contest you're playing from the Slate Time dropdown. Then select the position you want to optimize. We list the players by dash rank and salary, meaning all the players with a green dash rank show at the top, sorted by salary. This allows you to easily find the best studs and sleepers by scrolling down. Don't be caught up by the dash rank number. Any green dash rank represents a good play. Yellow is risky, and red means you might want to stay away. Let's start with the green studs at the top. These are the high salary players who have good matchups and have been scoring really well over the past few games. Pay attention to the pace of the game. This shows how many possessions per game each team gets on average and shows the total pace of the two teams. A higher pace means more possessions for your team and more chances for your player to score. Hover over the player activity icon to see the high and low fantasy points the player has scored so far this year. This gives you a good idea of the ceiling and the floor you can expect from this player. If there is recent news available for the player, the icon will be green. Check out the news for insight on the player that may be important in making your picks. One of the most important things to look at is the player minutes log. This shows how many game minutes the player has played in the last 3 games. Obviously, the more minutes the player is getting, the more chances they will have to rack up a ton of fantasy points. To the left of the minutes is the fantasy points per game. This is the actual number of fantasy points they scored, so it gives you a good idea of how well they've been doing in the past few games. Remember, sometimes you want to play elite players after they come off a bad game. Good players always seem to bounce back from bad games and rarely go in long scoring slumps. When you find a player you like, click the target icon to add them to your watch list. Players on your watch list will be flagged and will get priority in your lineups when you use the DFS Lineup Optimizer. If you see a red heart icon next to the player, this means they have some sort of injury update. Hover over to see the details. You may want to steer away from players coming back from injury. It just depends on the details of the injury. Now, taking all those things into consideration, along with your own knowledge of the players and the game, go through and watch all the players you want to play in your lineups today. I'm going to speed this video up and make my picks. There is no way to know for sure who will score big, but having all the information at a glance on one page will save you a ton of research time. It will also help you reduce your risk of playing a bad player who isn't involved in the current offense or playing many minutes. There is no one method for picking players. You should use all the stats and information available to decide for yourself what players you want to play in today's lineups. Daily fantasy is really hard to win. If someone could predict the actual points each player would score, DFS wouldn't be a contest. It always takes a lot of luck to win. You never really know what's going to happen. That's why all you can do is limit your risk, save research time, and hope for the best outcome for your players in the games. What I like to do is go through each position and spend the time to watch players that look like they have the best scoring potential. You can't just pick all the high salary players, otherwise you would go over the salary cap. That's why it's important to scroll down and find some low priced green or yellow dash rank players. These players will open up your salary cap for the higher priced players that are going to score a ton of points. Once you've finished targeting your players, you can use the DFS Lineup Optimizer to generate as many different lineups as you want using the players you just watched. Your watch players will get priority in your lineups, although because of salary constraints, it won't always use a full lineup of watch players. In this case, it has, but we still have a bunch of salary left over. So we should use the remaining salary to upgrade some players from the player upgrade dropdown. Watched players will show the target icon so you can find a higher priced player that you already know you want to play. Go through and upgrade your lineup to use as much salary as you can. You generally don't want to leave more than a few $100s on the table, but don't be overly concerned with using the full amount. If you really like the players you already have, just go with it. Save your lineup when you're happy with it. This will allow you to access it later. Now you can generate as many lineups as you want by using the randomize button. Sometimes you get a lineup that uses all your watch players and is really close to the max salary. In these cases, you can just save the lineup and continue generating. You can access your saved lineups using the My Save Lineups button. Here you can review the lineups, weed out the ones you don't want, optimize them if there's an injury change that affects one of your players, or export them to your favorite daily fantasy site. Enjoy playing the game. Don't let it frustrate you. Just keep at it. The more you play, the better you'll get. It only takes one big win to make months of losing worth it. If you're having a hard time placing in the huge contests, as most of us do, try a heads-up game where you only play against one person, or a 50-50 game where everyone in the top 50% wins double their entry fee. That's it for this video. I'll be posting more help videos as time goes on. If you want something added to the tools or you want help using them, let us know. We really appreciate your support and hope you enjoy using the tools and playing daily fantasy sports. Thanks again and good luck in your games.